Okay, imagine this. Young man is going to an apartment to visit his girlfriend to have dinner with her at her apartment. He drives his car safely, parks into a parking spot, gets out of that parking spot, and then goes out of his car door through the parking lot where he encounters a vicious pit bull sitting by a garbage can, absolutely rummaging through the garbage. Immediately, that individual is on the defense. A little bit alarmed, dog that's not on the leash, absolutely going through trash. The dog lifts his head up, looks at that individual. That individual then tries to get still to his girlfriend's apartment, which is on the first floor, goes around a car where he's met by a dog. The dog's vicious. The dog looks at him. He tries to befriend the dog, or at least be nice, like, hey there. But all of a sudden, the dog charges. The pit bull charges this individual and bites him on the leg, does not turn loose, and takes him down to the ground. He then is able to kind of free himself, become loose, and finds himself on top of a vehicle fleeing this pit bull that was vicious, that all that pit bull was going to do was absolutely decimate my client, and had already bitten this individual. That person is my client. That's an active case. We get a case like that, and we say, who is at fault? Now, first you might say the dog owner. Why is the dog off the leash? You would be right in that. There is some fault with respect to the dog owner. However, many apartments and property owners of these apartments have these policies that regulate what dogs can and cannot be in an apartment. In this specific case, the client comes to us. We start getting into the facts of what happened, where it happened, and what those policies were for that specific apartment. We offered a settlement opportunity to the apartment prior to having to file a lawsuit. That settlement opportunity was declined, and therefore we file a lawsuit. Once we file that lawsuit, guess what happens? We get all the policies and procedures of that apartment complex. And what we found was the apartment specifically had in their policies and procedures a paragraph that said there will be no pit bulls, no vicious animals. All you can have is a nice dog like a Labrador or something smaller in your apartment if you choose to have a pet. We get those policies and procedures, and guess what? Automatically, they violated their policies and procedures because they were allowing a pit bull to be on the premises, and it was that pit bull that ultimately bit our client. What's worse is we found that the apartment complex manager for the property management company actually knew that that pit bull had been a problem and still violated their own policies by allowing that pit bull to stay on the premises with their owner. And so every case comes down to knowledge and control. Who has the knowledge? Who has the most knowledge about what happened and how it could have been prevented? Who has the most control over the situation to make sure that something like what happened to our client, who still to this day has nasty, gnarly scars in his leg and is terrified to be around dogs, who had the control to make sure that should not happen? And in this case, it was the apartment complex. And so that's who we went after, that's who we've pursued, and we're working through it to try to get the best result for our client.